Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, and we are back again for another live stream. The international break is here, so I know most of you will be very bored, but we will be discussing everything Arsenal today, literally. So obviously, yesterday we beat Watford. That's 10 games unbeaten for Arsenal. Everyone is buzzing. 8 games in the Premier League unbeaten, plus 2 in the Carabao Cup. We will also be covering Smith Rowe and Gabriel, both getting international call-ups for England and Brazil, respectively. We'll also be taking a look at Arsenal targets for January, mostly VLAHOVIC and the January transfer window in general, and also Arsenal's next 5 fixtures. So we'll be taking a look at all that. And back with me again is Cozy. How are you? You're muted.
Okay, I'm doing well. I'm very well. Actually, I think I'm the happiest Guna right about now. 10 weeks, 10 weeks, no loss, no stress, only winning vibes ahead of Manchester United. I've already said when I'm ahead of United, I'm very fine. So I'm fine, guys. I'm really happy and happy to be here as well.
Absolutely. So make sure to hit the like button if you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube. We really appreciate it. And yeah, let's get started. We will get started with yesterday's game, Cozy. I did ask you when we were doing the match build-up, would you be happy with the 1-0? We ended up winning 1-0. So how are you taking a look at that game? How are you looking at the game? Are you looking at it like, okay, 1-0 is not enough, definitely? Or are you looking at it like, you know what, you did have some chances, so I'll not look too much into it as long as we start converting those chances? Are you looking at the positive side or negative side? Because I've seen people saying only 1-0 against Norwich and Burnley, and now Watford is not good enough. But how are you looking at it yourself?
Yeah, Glenn, I think, by the way, I'm one of those people who always look out for the nitty-gritties when it comes to Arsenal Football Club. I want it to be as perfect as possible. I want us to do it as perfect as possible. But yesterday against Watford, I didn't go for the nitty-gritties, surprisingly. I actually went for the positives. Look, I say this, and I'm going to say it again. The problem was not that we didn't create. The problem was not that we didn't play well. Luck was not on our side. Early in the game, we get a goal. It is ruled out offside. I think Aubameyang should score that. And many people are going to give him stick and things like that. But I'm not really going to do that. But honestly, Aubameyang should be scoring that chance. He should be scoring that goal in the first half. So it gets Saka offside. I mean, a weird way of being offside because it's behind the goalkeeper. That is really unlucky. If you talk about being unlucky, that is unlucky, right? We get a penalty, a genuine penalty, because Danny Rose is reckless in the penalty area, and the Aubameyang can't convert, right? Again, in the second half, we created a couple of chances until Emil Smith was scored. So for me, it's a game that even does not worry me at one point in time. Yes, Watford didn't play a low block, but we were also better than them. 71% ball possession in the first half. That tells you the story. We were absolutely better than them. And one thing I loved about that game is that there was a lot of character in that game. You know, when it goes to 60 minutes, when you have ball possession and you have not scored, it attracts the other team. It attracts the opponent, to come into the game, to come onto you, probably get that one goal and defend. But it was a matter of character. We tried, we looked for the goal until we got it. And of course, when we got it, it was still a very hard game. Those 15 minutes to 90 minutes, they tried to come back in the game. Claudio Ranieri, we know he's a manager that never gives up until it is late. And they tried to, Ismail Sarr, Emmanuel Dennis, they tried to, they tried to find a loophole, but they failed to find even one. So for me, it was not a completely perfect performance because it should have been 3. Aubameyang, by the way, I talking about being unlucky. Aubameyang again having another goal disallowed because it was offside, and he actually taps in a goal that was already going on. So in that performance, much positives than the negatives. The only negative is luck was not on our side, and maybe we should have tried to bury the game, earlier, and probably better. Those are the games where you get the goal difference, score 3, have a +2, score another 3 against Norwich, have a +2, like that. But it was a positive game. It was really, really positive. Very, very positive.
How are you feeling at halftime when it was 0-0 and also around the 80th minute when Watford started creating chances? Are you feeling like maybe this is not our day when we're missing those chances, goals disallowed, missing penalties? Or are you still confident like we're still going to get the goals because you're playing well?
First half, I was a little bit actually, I was very, very confident because of the fact that we played so well in the first half. So at halftime, I was confident. I thought, by the way, I thought we were going to have a goal in the first 55 minutes or 60. First, as soon as it gets to the hour mark, I thought we were going to score. I thought we were going to take the lead. It never happened, and I was quite a little bit worried when it came to 60 minutes, right? But look, when the goal came in, I became comfortable. I thought we were going to have another. Odegaard comes on, and somehow he tries to grab us a second goal, which should have stood if Aubameyang was not offside. So I was confident. I was really confident. The last 10 minutes of the game, I'm telling you, you should have seen me. I should start doing match vlogs. I was very, very scared. I was very, very, very scared because Ramsdale was like panicking a little bit, and that's because the ball was getting to him a little bit more. He was doing well in the air, but that panic, that kind of mistake he did with mistiming the ball, I was like, okay, is this going to be a 1-1? And that's why I say there's so many positives to take out of that game. The character. When we didn't have the ball, and I saw Mikel this time telling those boys, don't invite them on us. Try to do whatever you can so that they don't come onto us. And I think it absolutely really, really worked out very, very well. So it was last 10 minutes I was scared, but throughout the game, throughout the rest of the 70 minutes, I was very confident. I thought we were going to score even more than one, and I was only surprised that we scored only one.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about the penalty situation. As soon as Lacazette went down, first of all, did you think it was a penalty?
No. Actually, I thought at first instinct, I thought this is one of those challenges where a player accidentally gets his hand probably across your neck, across your face, and it is not a bookable offense because it didn't really look like like a goal scoring, a clear goal scoring opportunity, because it was a high ball for Lacazette to bring it down under his spell and find time to face goal and probably shoot. If VAR had calculated that as a goal scoring opportunity, the penalty wouldn't have stood. But I think the reason that's why the penalty stands is the challenge is dirty and stupid. Because what is he doing there, Danny Rose? What is he doing? He's throwing his hands in the face of like across the body of Lacazette, and I still look. If I'm Claudio Ranieri, I would need better explanations. What are you trying to do? Like, what was he trying to do exactly? Are you trying to stop the run? The player is, because Lacazette is still under pressure. He's not even put that ball down. He's not actually controlled the ball. So it was a very stupid challenge. It was a very, very stupid challenge, and I think that's the reason as to why it's a penalty, because he doesn't go for the ball. He goes for the person, right? And now for me, it was a penalty, but at first instinct, I didn't call it a penalty. At first instinct, I didn't call it a penalty. I thought it was just any other, challenge in the air where players collide, and I thought it was gonna. I wouldn't even be fuming if I hadn't seen the replay.
Okay, make sure to hit the like button on Facebook and YouTube. Exodus says, watching from Lagos State, Nigeria. Thank you. We got the goal. We should have won by 3-0, maybe even 4-5. But hey, a win is a win. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. I've seen your question, Cookie. Will come to that. He says it looked 50-50, was completely up to the ref. He went with the penalty kick, and Watford cannot complain. It was very 50-50. And also, Danny Rose is one of those players recently has been making so many mistakes. I saw him playing against Liverpool, and Salah ripped him apart. So we are not done with the penalty yet, because you saw as soon as we were given the penalty, what were you thinking? Let Aubameyang take, he's the captain, let him correct his penalty miss against Aston Villa, or you like I said, stand up and take this penalty because I trust you more?
Actually, the truth is, seeing Lacazette on the pitch and winning the penalty, I thought he was going to take the penalty. I thought that was his chance. I thought he was going to take the penalty. But I was very, very surprised. Not very surprised, because we know Aubameyang is has also been a penalty taker at Arsenal, especially when Lacazette is off the pitch. But I thought this time Lacazette would take it. When Aubameyang took it, I was I was worried. And I'm telling this one to everyone, I was worried. Not worried because he's never scored a penalty, but I know his penalties and I know where he goes for. He never goes for the corners. It's like he's scared of penalties. He never goes for the corner. He just puts it low. He just puts it in the middle. At Ben Foster, however much we want to say, wow, what a save from the cycling GK. That's a poor penalty, honestly. That's a very, very poor, poor penalty, because Foster has already decided where he's going to go, but he has time to reconsider his decision and still serve the penalty. And because it's a very, very poor penalty, it doesn't even give Aubameyang time to react, probably for a rebound. No, because the goalkeeper, harnesses it, and on the second attempt, he grabs it. It was a poor penalty for me. Very, very poor. I thought Lacazette should have taken that penalty.
Yeah, he's never missed a penalty at Arsenal. And Exodus says Aubameyang hasn't done enough in terms of penalty, has been poor. Don't you guys think McAllister should look for another penalty? You already have one. Lacazette has never missed one at Arsenal. Last season, he took some big ones. That game where we beat Chelsea after losing like 10 games in a row, and that Boxing Day fixture, Lacazette scored a very important penalty in that game. He scored in the North London derby last season at the Emirates. He scored one at the King Power Stadium last season. So big penalties Lacazette has been taking. So I'm not sure why he didn't take. Probably will take the next one next time. We also have someone else who knows how to take penalties, and his name is NILES. He's very confident. Would you have expected him to take a penalty at 0-0 though?
Not really, and I wouldn't have expected him to take a penalty ahead of Lacazette and Aubameyang.
Yeah, I totally agree. So halftime it was 0-0, but a certain Smith Rowe did save us in the second half, scoring a goal. I watched that game. I watched that game obviously like 3 times since yesterday, and I did not even realize they were not only complaining about the foul. I think one of their players was down when we scored. It was not only that. Before, like 10 seconds before, they had put the ball out in the corner because one of their players was down, and we did not actually return the ball to them. We took the throw-in. So we passed the ball around, and then they won the ball back, and then one of their players lost it back to Ben White, and then that's how we scored. So Ranieri, when he was talking to us at the end of the game, he was actually asking about us not giving the ball back to them. But the reason why it was not checked by VAR is because like they won the ball back and lost it. So if we scored directly from that, it probably would have been checked and cancelled yet again, another Arsenal goal that would have been cancelled. So I wanted to also ask you about Niles. What did you make of his performance yesterday? Very, very hard to come in for Partey. Surprising to see him in the starting lineup. Would you have gone for him, or would you have gone for someone like an Elneny or Odegaard?
I'm telling you, definitely, I wouldn't have gone for Maitland-Niles. I was really surprised to see him in the starting 11. I didn't panic because it was only one change to the constant 11. And I've already said that if you get a structure, which I think that we are trying to get, a style of play, that kind of structure where players are used to playing with each other consistently. One player doesn't change the pattern. But I was surprised with everything that happened on that day around Maitland-Niles. Him starting, him playing 90 minutes, and the way he played. Look, I was doing my match build-up show, and I said, I think he has started him to help out Nuno Tavares with Ismail Sarr. And that was the reason. That was because I think he did that job absolutely very, very well. He did it well. He covered for Nuno Tavares, because for me Tavares was a little bit you know exposed at times, you know, and you really can't blame him, because we know the quality that Ismail Sarr provides down that right hand side of the pitch. So what's happened is he was just doing the Granit Xhaka role, and he did it well, by the way. Just move from that midfield area and cover for Nuno. And when Nuno comes back, come back in the midfield and try to progress the ball forward. I was impressed. I would give him a look. If he were not playing Liverpool, if it was Newcastle next, I would give him a start. I would give him a start to see how much he's improved. Because Mikel said that he's a player. He's an intelligent player, a player who really runs quickly. And
Yeah.
they were deliberate when they made that decision not to let him go out in the summer. And probably they were right, because that was a hell of a performance. If you can put in 10 of those, in one season, it's going to be a consistent understudy to Thomas Partey, and that is what we want: competition in the team. But he was brilliant, very brilliant, man of the match for me.
That was going to be my next question. So I put the poll in the community tab today morning, and I asked who was the man of the match in the 1-0 win against Watford. 900 people have voted so far. Thank you. And I put 4 players, and obviously the last option is any other player, in case you prefer any other player I did not mention. The first option was Ben White, and then Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Maitland Niles, and then any other player that I didn't mention if you decided to choose any other player as man of the match. So Bukayo Saka had 3%. Would you agree with that? Do you think he wasn't that good? Like there were like 3-4 better players than him yesterday?
Actually, I thought Saka, as compared to the Aston Villa and Leicester's performances, given the fact that we won those games, I thought he was a little bit lit up in this game. Because if you look at his 55 touches, they were really they were really going forward, and whenever he got the ball, you could see that we were a threat. We were a potential threat whenever he had the ball. So I really do not disagree. I do not agree with people who would actually rate him so low in that game.
Yeah.
I would say behind Magalhaes and the centre back partnership, I would put him there.
Okay, so Niles was voted. Obviously, any other player was had 2%, and then Bukayo Saka 3%, and then Bukayo Saka, not Sako. And then the third player was actually Maitland Niles. He had 25%. So there were 2 players voted above him. Emil Smith-Rowe had 30%, and then could you guess who got man of the match? Ben White, 40% voted for Ben White. Would you agree with that?
Look, there were 3 players that if you gave them man of the match in that game, I would agree. Ben White, the performance there, his courage to start dribbling. I mean, I think, how many defenders do I see do that? Harry Maguire does it. Rudiger is a specialist at that. At Chelsea, I think Ben White is now also a very good player at doing it. He just carries the ball. He's got the gut. He trusts his gut. He just carries the ball forward. So man of the match, why not? A clean sheet, had in the in the goal. I thought he was lively in the game. I could give him the man of the match. If I didn't give it to Maitland, I'd give it to Niles as well. I'd give it to Smith-Rowe as well. I thought those 3 were exceptional in the game.
Okay, let us know in the comment section, who did you give your man of the match in this game between Smith-Rowe and Niles? Smith-Rowe, Niles, and Ben White. Any 3 of them, who would you have given man of the match? So, because it's 10 games unbeaten, who would have thought you'd have been talking about 10 games unbeaten? I don't think, first of all, I asked you this question because I also did another poll, I think a couple of days back, 1 week ago. I did ask which of these wins was bigger. Was it at home to Tottenham or away to Leicester? Which of those victories did you enjoy the most? Not enjoy, because enjoying you'd say the derby, but which one do you think was bigger for us? Tottenham at home 3-1 or winning at Leicester 2-0?
No, it's away to Leicester. It's different when you eat a broiler from when you eat some authentic, traditional chicken. And I think Tottenham were a broiler. There were no
Yeah,
bonds. We chewed the bonds, right? We chewed the bonds. I
Tottenham
think,
fans will not be happy to hear that. I can tell
yeah,
you that.
definitely, definitely. But they know, they know. I love, and
The-
that's why I love expressions. He's one hell of a guy who says we are not good enough, right?
yeah,
He says it. We're not good enough. And the Leicester City game, and why I think I'm trying to reconsider now that they were not even the ultimate test, but it was a better performance and a better test. Is at least Leicester City have something to show this season. At least they have. I think they had beaten United 4-2 on those grounds at the King Power. Arsenal going there and keeping a clean sheet and scoring twice in that game, and not even of course we survived because of Ramsdale. But Ramsdale is our player, and we did spend a lot of money, lots of money. We spent more money than we spent on Odegaard, right? Am I
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, more money than we spent on Tomiyasu to get that lad in. So look, a goalkeeper that is that expensive, that is what he does. Wins you points you don't expect to be won. That free kick, like many goalkeeping experts have said, is one of the best saves we have seen in a decade. Look at the Harvey Barnes save he makes in the second half. Because for me, actually, why I think Ramsdale is the reason we won that game. If they had scored, if Leicester
Yeah,
City
yeah,
had
there's been
scored, right?
trouble. Yeah,
Yeah, it would have been lots and lots of trouble. But we kept them at an arm's distance, and the beauty, of the game was the way we held character. It tested a lot of things. Can we create some chances against a hard side, against a top side? Yes, we can. Can we finish them off? Yes, we can. Can we hold them back? Yes, we can. Can we, minimize individual mistakes? Yes, we did. Can we have the character to stay together, solid, and continue throughout the 90 minutes? Probably keep our win, which came very, very early, in the game. Yes, we did. Yeah, it was a better. It was because the Spurs game, it was 3-0, which means it was a little bit far away. 2-0 in the Premier League, it's the same as 0-0, right? A Premier League side to get back in a 2-0 loss, it's everyday business. So I think the Leicester City game was even better.
Okay, Ali Nuru says, I want Lacazette to check the penalty next time I'm from Kenya. Cookie says, we played the game to the whistle, ref decision. Watford can complain, but the referee would have had to blow his whistle since he didn't legally speaking. We can't take the throw-in. And good to see Arsenal stopping. Mr. Nice Guy will talk about this. Michael says, keep up the good work. Thank you. It's between Ben and Ainsley. For me, I'd vote Ainsley, but Ben was immense. Exodus says, my man of the match is Ben White, no doubt. Winning less at away is wow. Forget about Spurs, you always beat them. Okay, hopefully you can beat them at their place next time round as well. So also Cookie says, did you see that the stats Matchtower has won more of his first 100 games than Wenger did? So I can bring you up the graphic, Cookie. So I'll also ask Cozy about that. So where is it? It is. So this is when Arteta played 99 games. So far now, Arteta currently 100 games, obviously, from 99. So Arteta has won 54 games out of the 100, and Wenger has won 51 games out of the 100. But I did another show the other day, and someone did correctly point out that, yes, Arteta has won more games than Wenger in the first 100, but Wenger's picked up more points because you can see in terms of losses, Wenger only lost 18 and Arteta lost 26. So the 31 draws and the 20 draws, Wenger was picking up more points. In fact, I think I want to get the exact number. What do you make of it? What do you make of that stat? As I get the exact number of points.
No, 53 games, 1 out of 100. Of course, 2 wins ahead of Arsene Wenger. Actually, I think now 3 wins, right? Because this is So 3 wins ahead of Arsene Wenger. Look, we've got to give some credit to Mikel. I'm not really sure the shape of what the shape of Arsenal was in 1996, 1997 when Arsene Wenger was taking over this team. I'm not really sure. I do not know whether the job was as hard as it was when Mikel took over the job. I'm not really sure about that because I was born in 1997. So literally, I was being born when he was hired as manager from Nagoya Grampus 8. with Mikel Arteta, I've seen every bit of it. I've criticized every bit of it, and I've credited every bit of it along the journey. I'm gonna say this: if there was a job, one of the hardest jobs to take was being an Arsenal manager, and credit to Mikel, big credit to Mikel, and being an Arsenal manager at that point in time was the worst job ever. One, you had Unai Emery, a manager that had come in to settle, actually not to settle, but to replace Arsene Wenger. He did inherit a bad squad, a very, very poor squad, Unai Emery. And the investment during his time was absolutely poor. Honestly, it was poor. So Mikel comes in and inherits that squad. And we've always said it here and on my podcast that these players are not good enough because they have served from the Arsene Wenger era up to now. So he inherits a very, very poor squad, a squad that doesn't even deserve to be playing in the Premier League, right from Arsene Wenger. And that made the job even difficult. Then you had COVID-19 and players and fans out of the stadiums. It made the job even difficult. Loss of fans. The recruitment has been slow right until last summer. So I'm gonna give credit to Mikel. I will give credit to Mikel because he has achieved that achievement under the most difficult situation, under the worst Arsenal, right? In the past, because for me, in the past 20 years, this is the worst Arsenal. 20 years under Arsene Wenger, we qualified for Champions League with quality players. After that, you had players that had turned into Deadwood, Squadron Mustafi, Socrates Papastopoulos. I won't name this because it is so long. So Mikel comes in. It is a rebuild. He has to win to impress the fans, but he also has to clean the dirty mess that he even didn't create. Right? He played with some of these players, at the side. He played with some of them, and he was even better than them, and they're still at the club. And he must be asking himself, I was better than these guys. They should have left by now. So look, it's been a very, very hard journey because you have very, very furious fans who want to win, and we deserve it. It's been 6-8 years. We are not competing at a top level. Actually, not only 8. I think it is around 12 years now, right? We are not competing at the top level. So Mikel comes in, doesn't have experience, so he has to prove to us why he is in this job without experience. At the same time, clean the mess that is going on around as a novice, a person who has never managed anywhere. So big credit to Mikel. Big credit to Mikel.
Yeah, so all those games, I don't think all these games are Premier League games, but if they were, Arteta would have had 182 points. Wenger would have had 184. So Wenger would have still been 2 points ahead because of less defeats. But yeah, congratulations to Mikel. Is an 100th game and 100th win. And also do understand yesterday's game, we did score our 100th goal. Sorry, 100th goal. Smith Rowe scored Arsenal's 100th Premier League goal under Mikel Arteta. So that was something. That was something as well. 100 Premier League goals, but the 100th game is in all competitions. So I think that's like 70 Premier League games, 100 goals, or 60 Premier League games, something like that. We have. We're not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm very, very good to go 10 games unbeaten. And yeah, can we go to the next 5 fixtures because it gets tougher. It gets tougher. Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, Manchester United away, Everton away, Southampton at home. So over the last 2 international breaks, we've asked ourselves, how many points do we want from Burnley, Norwich, blah, blah, blah? How many points do you want from Crystal Palace, Villa? So these 5 fixtures, how many points do you want out of the available 15? How much would you be happy with? And how much would you be disgusted with if we didn't get a certain amount?
Those 5 fixtures, honeymoon is over, period. Honeymoon is over. What a way to mark the end of honeymoon with 100 games, 100 goals, and 10 games unbeaten. Now it is time to face the real test. Look, Liverpool, I will take a loss with character, right?
Yeah.
If we make it hard for them, if we play like West Ham did and lose the game, I won't even mind. I would give my players credit rather than discredit them. Newcastle, 3 points. Because for me, the Newcastle game, and this is why I'm saying that honeymoon is over, the Newcastle game is now a test of how do you bounce back, a test of resilience. How do we bounce back when we lose points, right? Do we go, oh, we've lost it, right? Can we bounce back? A test of resilience. Manchester United, they are struggling, we know, and they're going to be dangerous. They could come out of this international break. Really, really dangerous. But look, United away from home, it's a very, very difficult game. They've been struggling, especially at the Old Trafford. If we can get a point, I'll be satisfied, right?
Yeah,
I'll be really satisfied. Everton away from home still. I think I'll be satisfied with a point, but we can win it. They're struggling. They're really struggling. I don't know if the likes of Dokore will be back, but at the moment they are struggling to score, and they can concede. So Everton, I'll take a win or a draw. Southampton is a win. It's not the Southampton that they have been. WordPress is on the decline. There are two forwards who are the players that I think are really bogus in the league. They are really, really doing poorly. One of them who is I really confused them. I think one of them is Adams, right?
Adams, yeah, Shea Adams.
Yeah, Shea Adams, and then the other who scored over the weekend was
Adams, Armstrong.
That is Armstrong, exactly. So, but I think that partnership has not yet clicked well.
Yeah.
So they're not a big threat. And with the likes of West Ham coming ahead after Southampton, West Ham, and a couple of other games, you expect at least to take, us to take advantage, at home of Southampton. So 3 points from Southampton. I'll take a point at Manchester United. 3 points from Newcastle. There's a 7, and I'll take a point at Everton. Because Rafa Benitez is not the easiest manager. He's losing games. He's struggling. If we get away with the win, yeah, I'll be ecstatic. But if we get a point, it's absolutely, it's okay.
So,
it's okay.
So 8 from 15 points would be good for you.
8 from 15, based on the quality of the opponents. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll do that. So, but 10 would be even better.
10 would be even better. So that's 2 wins, 2 draws, and you're okay with 1 loss there. So how would you feel if we went to and beat Liverpool and then lost to United, for example?
As an Arsenal fan, I would be very, very hurting because we know the rivalry between us and Manchester United. But for me, United are like a team that is facing relegation in the last 10 fixtures of the league. Anything can happen. We know how good Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure. He really works well under pressure. And for me, I think the reason as to why he's failed to work under pressure this time is that games have been coming in thick and fast. He didn't have room to think. I think Manchester United fans, and let me tell you this, United is gonna turn things around because Solskjaer is now given that international break. It's gonna take some breath off, and United have decided to keep him in the job. I've seen that according to a couple of sources around. They've decided to keep him in the job. So what I think is United are going to come back a better side, not because of the coaching or anything, but I think they're just going to come back a refreshed side, and I think that's when they're going to be very, very difficult. So if I beat Liverpool and lose United, I will understand the position in which United are and their manager. It's do or die. It's absolutely do or die. But it's not a loss I would take any season. It's not a loss I would take any season.
Absolutely. So Cookie says 1-1 draw at Liverpool, 3-0 Newcastle, 2-0 versus United, 3-1 versus Everton, 2-0 versus Southampton. That would be special. 13 points from 15 there. But I'd be upset with any less than 9 out of 5. So
I think that would leave us in the top 3. That would leave us.
Oh yeah, if you go through these 5 games without losing any game, you're definitely in the top 3. You're definitely in the top 3. So probably only behind City and Chelsea in that period if you win all those games. But if you lose 2 games, I think you'll still be 6th. Maybe if you lose 2 games there, you'll still be 6th. Maybe United will get past you. Obviously, if you lose like 3 or 4 of those games, you'll be around 9th or something. But a good thing is that you're creating a gap now from 5th, 6th to 8th, 9th. You're now starting to create a gap. So the reason we won yesterday's game, Cozy, was because of a certain Emil Smith Rowe. And he has been called up by Southgate, obviously, because other players haven't turned up. So first of all, are you taking any notice of how the rivals are speaking about it? It's only because Mount is out, or are you just happy for Smith Rowe?
I'm so grateful to Smith for the past 3 games. That those performances have really put us where we are at the moment. He has actually been a shining star. But look, I say this during my press conference reaction. I say that look, the reason that Smith Rowe is not called up yet is for me the only reason was Southgate trying to keep his structure, right? Mount should come in, Tyrone Mings should be in because they are the regulars. He wants to keep his structure, right? Otherwise, the likes of Ben White should be in. Actually, Arsenal should have 4 or 5 players called international for English international duty. Ramsdale, Ben White, Saka, Smith Rowe, all those players should be called, right? But he wants to keep the structure. Look, if they're saying that he's been called because of an injury, right? There's so many other players out there that should have been called, right? They should have been called.
True. Greenwood, for example.
Greenwood, for example. There's so many other players out there. They should have been called. Look, opportunity manifests itself to only those people that are prepared. That is what that is a statement that is the only true statement in the world. Opportunity will never manifest. Look, Glenn, if someone wanted to run an ad on an Arsenal blog in Kenya, they will come to you. They will never come to someone who says, "Oh, I'll start an Arsenal blog or a sports blog, next year." That opportunity goes past them, right? So Smith Rowe has placed himself in that level, in that caliber. That look, I might not be ahead of Grealish, Foden, and Sterling in pecking order at England, right? But if anything happens, I'm the first person you turn to. And that is a big step. 365 days ago, 1 year ago, he wasn't there, right?
He wasn't there, yeah.
And right from Boxing Day last year to Boxing Day this year, he's made such an improvement that not calling him for England has actually caused debates. You understand? There's so many people, there's so many players out there that we even don't talk about. If Anthony was not called, who cares? Patrick Bamford was not called, who cares? Right? But Smith was not called, and there was a big debate, right? Not only from Arsenal fans, and look, this is what fans don't want to agree on, but even English fans, England football fans that do understand football and love their team to do well, they would have been asking, Southgate questions. Why is Emil not there? Why is Ben White not there? These guys are really doing well. Is there some kind of favoritism? Is there some kind of ABCD, right? And look, I love people like Laurie Jennings because he's one of those people that have very, very, very strange and true unpopular opinions, right? It's gonna say Smith Rowe not called. That is abysmal, right? So for me, Smith Rowe deserved the call up more than any other player in that English side. More than any other player. And I'll say it strongly, more than any other player. He deserved it, he worked for it, and he got it.
Okay, I think it's obviously, it probably hurts if when you see Saka going and Smith Rowe not going. We are used to see the picture on the left, but you're not used to seeing the picture on the right. So both of them are there in the English squad. Do you think Saka is still slightly ahead of Smith Rowe in being picked for England?
Yeah, I still think he is. I still think he is because Southgate is this kind of conservative manager, and we have seen it from him. He loves to keep shape. He loves to keep structure. And Saka, ever since he was called up for England, this lad has not gotten any worse. He's actually kept on being better and better and better. And what Saka has done is he's created himself some credit in the bank, right? Smith Rowe is just having an open account, right? But what Saka did is he created himself credit in the bank. Man of the match in the Euros, one of the games, man of the match, right? So that really shows you. And whenever England have called him up, he's really delivered. He's been good. I think he reminds me of the time Theo Walcott was called for England. He was always called, and he would score somehow. I mean, he would get a goal.
I still remember his hat trick against Croatia. He always scores.
Yeah, he would always score for England. So it's that there's those players that really get themselves credit in the bank. The likes of Calvin Phillips, the likes of Declan Rice. I think those are players that have taken their opportunity. Same as Saka, same as Rashford. They have taken the opportunity, and Smith Rowe has now just needs to get to start building the credit in the back and probably work for the World Cup in Qatar.
So you think Ben White should have definitely been in that English squad in place of who?
For me, definitely ahead of Mings.
Yeah.
I read Mings. I love Mings, and I remember saying in the summer that maybe we could have signed Mings instead of Ben White. I still remember making that statement. But Mings has been absolutely astonishing for Aston Villa. Yes, they've been as a unit, they've been terrible. But him as captain, I mean, he's always chewing. I don't know what he's always chewing, but he's not been that strong, right? But I think it's still for purposes of keeping structure and shape and keeping track of his players that Southgate is still choosing him and the likes of Maguire.
Absolutely. So congratulations to Smith Rowe. Very, very happy for him. And as Cookie said earlier on, I saw the comment saying Emil Smith Rowe and Saka on the wings versus San Marino. I mean, they usually lose by 8 to 9, or 9, but with Smith Rowe and Saka, it could be 15 to 20 goals. I mean, pray for San Marino. So it's not only Smith Rowe and Saka who have been picked for their countries. There is another player who has been picked, and his name is Gabriel, also being called up for Brazil. Do you think he definitely deserves it? And how important has he been for us this season?
Completely outstanding. Very, very solid, strong performances for Arsenal this season. I mean, look, it should be one of the players we nominate for Player of the Month last season. I mean, last month. Even November should be nominated for Player of the Month, right? Because his performances shouldn't go unnoticed. It actually makes him underrated, and I don't want that. I want him to be shining in the spotlight like Virgil van Dijk was done, right? They put him out in the spotlight and made him the best centre back in the world, right? And I want the likes of Gabriel to be done the same. But the call up is absolutely well deserved, well deserved. He's worked for it, and with Gabriel, I think it's not a call up that is worked for this season. Right from his time at Lille Metropole in France, he's been really doing well. First season at Arsenal, really did well. Of course, we consider the struggling with language and communication because it's coming in a new league to learn a new language, to learn a new a new culture. There's a lot of cultural shock in England. He's Brazilian and things like that, but he does well. He really does well, and of course, consider the fact that he was playing with players like Pablo Mari and Bolding. So he does excellently in his first season. And now in the second season, he gets a better centre back next to him. He's actually doing wonders. So it's a call that I pray doesn't get an injury because one of those players that I feel are somehow delicate. And the last time he was on international duty for the Olympics, he actually got an injury, and that's why he didn't start the season. But his performances this season have actually gifted him that call. Absolutely brilliant this season.
So I'm also really interested. I'm interested to know if Brazil is still in that red list, because if he comes back, I'm not sure if he'll be able to play the first game against Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool will also miss some players if that happens. Alisson won't be there, Fabinho won't be there. But if Gabriel misses, I think that takes away. If Partey isn't there as well, that takes away two of our spines, basically, like two of our players who like at the spine of Arsenal, definitely. So hopefully, when he comes back, he's able to play, because he's been magnificent for us. And Cookie says Gabriel picked for Brazil is like Saka for England. Now time for Martinelli to be Brazil's version of Emil. Martinelli will get there eventually if he gets some time under Mikel, some game time under Mikel, hopefully. So those are the international players. We'll be updating you obviously on how they do during the international break. The likes of Smith Rowe, Gabriel, Aubameyang, all still trying to qualify for the World Cup. And some of them will be going to the African Cup in January. Some of our players, maybe more than 4, something like that. And the January transfer window is around the corner, because 1 month from now, we'll be talking about the January transfer window. So far, we've been linked with one very, very strong link to this striker, DUSAN VLAHOVIC. So before I even go to him, the question I wanted to ask you is, January transfer window, how many players do we need?
I think, honestly, around 3. Around 3. We're not going to get them, but since you use the word need, and me as a person, I'm desperate to get back to Europe. Even if it's UEFA Europa League, I don't care. I'm desperate to get back to Europe. I just miss those days when we are reacting to draws. I just miss those days when we are doing those late night, reactions. I just miss it. I just miss it. Right. So I'm gonna be honest. 3 players. One player up top, and 2 players in the midfield.
2 players in the midfield. So I put a poll in the chat asking which position do Arsenal need to sort out first in January, and I asked, is it the striking position, attacking midfield, defensive midfield, or other positions? So 54% have said striker, and that's the highest. Do you agree with that?
I mean, we need a striker, but I feel like it is not the most pressing. It's not the most pressing position. Because if Lacazette remains as 10, right, I could have Odegaard as 10, and then push Lacazette a little bit forward, bring in actually, I don't need any other changes. Any other changes, because Smith Rowe remains on the left and and Saka. So that means even I have an extra card to play, a wild card, by the way, of Gabi Martinelli on the bench.
And right? Pepe will be gone, by the way.
Pepe will be gone, and that's why I think we need a forward, because Pepe is gone, Aubameyang is gone as well. You might need a forward. You never know if Lacazette gets injured or Gabi Martinelli, because we know he can't get injured. Then you might need someone to cover for you around there. So I think a striker is not the most pressing. A midfielder, though, is the most pressing.
Okay, so midfield is the most pressing for you, but surprisingly or not surprisingly, we are linked to Dusan Vlahovic, the Fiorentina striker, for 80 million euros. To be fair, I don't think most of us knew anything about him before the summer transfer window anyway, because he's very, very young. So again, another question for the January transfer window for you, Kozi. If we are signing a striker, do you prefer someone who's already known and someone who's already done his job for years, scored goals, 26, 27 years of age, or do you want a young striker like Vlahovic? Which one do you prefer? A complete package, or someone who's just starting?
Obviously, the truth is you can't refuse, you can't turn down the opportunity. If we had the opportunity to sign a player like Erling Haaland, you can't turn that down. You can't turn down the opportunity to sign a player like Lautaro Martinez. You can't. But look, I think what we are trying to do now is put together a group of players that are very, very similar, and show them the same rope, so that they pull in the same direction. That is what Josh Kroenke has said, and that is what I see in the side at the moment. So what I think is, in the January transfer window, I wouldn't really go for someone who's 27, 28, even in the summer. I wouldn't go for someone 26, 27, 26 maybe, but 27 and above. I wouldn't. Because what happens is that this squad, which is 23 at the moment, is going to mature in the next 3 years, and all of them will be with an average age of 26, right? And most of them will be hitting their prime, and most of them will be arriving at the stages where you need them to perform. So if you bring in someone who's 28, they'll be shrinking. right? That means you'll need to replace another important pattern in the pass. So at the moment, I'll just go with the flow. We have already set the flow, so I'll just carry on with the pace. Getting someone, especially a striker who is young but with potential. Don't get in someone that Eddie Nketiah will be like, I think I have a competitor. Bring in someone who shows Eddie that I think I need to leave. Right?
Yeah.
I think I need to leave. It's over for me. Yeah. That's
You're
it.
very mean. You're very mean. Some Arsenal players wouldn't have been there if you were there. So again, if you are getting a striker yet again, which kind of striker are you looking at? Are you looking? Obviously, we had a striker like Giroud, aerial ability. We had players like Adebayo getting in behind one-on-one chances. We had strikers like Van Persie who can whip the ball from anywhere. Which striker are you looking for? Are you looking at someone who can head the ball? Are you looking at someone who's pacey like Aubameyang, a young Aubameyang, or are you looking at someone who can play in different positions? Or are you looking for someone who can hold up the ball? Most importantly, which one are you looking? Which kind of striker are you looking at?
Eduardo,
like Eduardo, the former Arsenal player.
that is the kind of striker I'm looking at. Eduardo. Okay, if some people didn't watch Eduardo, then Raul Jimenez. I'm looking at that kind of striker. I'm looking at that passion, right? I'm looking at a striker who's talented, a striker who's going to bully defenders, a striker who's going to pick the ball at the center line, turn, right, and create attacks himself, a striker who's going to be engaged in a build-up and then finish off the build-up. That is the striker I'm looking at. A striker who can run when we need him to run, a striker who can head the ball when we need when we need him to head the ball, a striker who can shoot outside the box when we need him to do that. I want someone who's selfish. I want someone who is absolutely I don't know the word to use, but someone who doesn't care as long as they score. That's the person I want.
That is definitely Jimenez. That explanation is perfect. Jimenez does that. Can head the ball. He can come in and pass the ball to Wang and Traore. He's always involved in the game. Always involved in the game. Yeah. 30 million for Jimenez, would you pay?
30 million? He's 29. No. He's 29.
Yeah.
He's 29. He's actually clocking 30. And I think that that collision that he had with David Luiz actually did affect him, really.
Very, very much. So you've mentioned the qualities you want. So do you think Dusan Vlahovic has those qualities?
Not all of them. Not really all of them. But of course, my concern is still with the coaching at Arsenal. But I still feel like with these young players, their careers are still yet to be shaped, right?
Yeah.
If you look at Dusan Vlahovic, he's a fast striker. He runs a lot, and I think he is clinical. When he gets in front of goal, he's hungry and he knows where to put the ball. He's very, very clinical. So what you need to add is the physique, because he's not that physical. So you need to make him a bully. You need to make him a little bit physical. Add that to his game, and definitely add his aerial prowess. I think with the young strikers, you can add something, but at the moment he's not there. He's not. I think Erling Haaland is there though, because I've seen him run with the ball, dribble with the ball, head the ball. He has I think he's one of the strikers with the hardest shots.
He's very, very good. I can tell you. Every time I watch Dortmund or Lewandowski gets by, and I just look at them, I'm like, if you can get a striker like this, he is very lethal.
I don't know if there is another person. Look, it's absurd that the Ballon d'Or has been shared in Spain like like a piece of cake. Lewandowski, how has he not won the Ballon d'Or somewhere? How?
That's what he does. He scores goals. That's what he does. I do not even understand. He has so many. Surely this year, even Benzema, do you feel like Benzema should have been close to winning one?
Maybe, but for me, that the monopoly, and this is FIFA trying. For me, I think the monopoly between Cristiano and Messi, which is sponsored by the fact that they've been so good, is also being pushed by FIFA, and we know how controversial FIFA are. We know how controversial FIFA are, but I still think players like Benzema should have come close to winning it. players like Lewandowski should have it. Honestly, he should have it, right? I've seen,
Players like
I've had, he should have it.
players like Saka, right? Yeah, hopefully he wins it one day. So January transfer window, Dusan Vlahovic, 80 million euros. Yes or no for you in January?
January is a difficult one. Arsenal will want a striker in the summer. If we can do it, let's do it.
Okay, so last question now on January transfer window, and then we end it, is about this guy, Nicolas PEPE. So obviously 72 million. He ended last season on a very high note. We even asked for 15 goals from him this season. Obviously hasn't lived up to expectation. And I think Smith Rowe and Saka are definitely way ahead of him right now. If a Barcelona came in January and said, you know what, we have 25 million for Nicolas PEPE, would you sell him?
And it's quite surprising that I still remember that in the summer I said he's going to be the key to Arsenal's season.
Yeah,
I said it. And the video is still on my channel, right?
Yeah.
I said he's going to be the key to our season because of the way he ended off. He ended off on a very, very high note. But he's just so inconsistent. That is my problem with him. He's very, very inconsistent. Now, it's like he's never stepped on, on the ball, right?
Yeah.
He's shooting his way off. He's finishing his way off. His runs are poor. He no longer has those direct, moves inside, inside the 18-yard box. He's dreadful. He's dreadful. But look, I don't know what the resale value is, but come the summer, I think his resale value is going to be dropping. If Newcastle come in, Barcelona won't do it because they are broke as I am. But I think Newcastle, the lads, the good lads with money, I think Newcastle will make some mistakes somewhere, like employ Eddie Howe, right? Those mistakes, give him a budget. It doesn't work out, sack him, clear out the players, and then start, building something with a serious manager. So probably they could ask for a Nicolas PEPE, and if they do, please sell him 50 million, 45 million pounds. It works for us. It would really work for us.
25 million is about right. You need to make some money back, but he's not good enough. He tries to play like Messi and actually plays like Phil Jones on the wing. The last comment he did say, Cookie did say as well, would have loved Tammy Abraham. We talked about Tammy Abraham so many times over the transfer window. Would you still like someone like a Tammy Abraham? No. That's a simple no, Cookie. That's a simple no.
Look, in the summer, I would have done a Tammy Abraham, right? I would have done Tammy Abraham because we were desperate. Yeah. But now that we have clear clarity of things, Tammy is good for Roma. It's good for Roma.
He's good for Roma. Roma have been awful as well. He has scored a few goals there, so good. Good for him. But we've covered everything. We've covered Maitland Niles, our 10-game unbeaten run, the January transfer window, Dusan Vlahovic, Nicolas PEPE, Smith Rowe, Gabriel. And if you want more news on the transfer window, we did a whole show with Cozy. His link is in the title. We talked about more players, detailed analysis on Vlahovic, on Luka Jovic, on Nketiah, and all those players. So make sure to go and watch that as well. We also will be streaming throughout the week on his channel and on mine as well. Thank you for all the comments, Cookie. Appreciate it. Let's see. Exodus, Michael, Mohammed, Ali Nuru, and everyone else who joined as well. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like button and follow the page if you're watching on Facebook. And make sure to follow Cozy and subscribe to him as well. So thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.